¿Ah? Está lindo y está refrescando.
¿Dónde está la luna?
La luna.
La
Luna nueva. ¿No la vas a ver? No creo que la veas.
¿Eh?
Rosh Chodesh. ¿Se ve?
Ah, verdad. No hay luna. No hay luna.
אז הנשמה שלנו מהבורא, משמיים, הוא יודע למה הוא כאן. Our soul knows why we're here. אנחנו כאן לבנות את בית של אבא שלנו, שנחרב בגלל שנאת חינם. Our soul is here to build a house of our father who was destroyed because of baseless hatred between us. And what do we need to do? We need to be with each other to build this house. In order to build this house, we're dependent on each other to build this house, because without each other we can't have this baseless love, which is the fixing. בלי אחד את השני אי אפשר לעשות תיקון של שנאת חינם, שזה אהבת חינם, שזה אהבה בלי להסיס. למה אנשים חושבים שאני צריך לאהוב אותך ככה, שאני צריך להסכים איתך ככה לאהוב אותך? Why do people think that I need to agree with you in order to love you? אהבה והסכמה זה לא אותו קופצה. Love and agreement are not in the same box. וכל זה של אהבת חינם, basis hatred is on the fact that I don't agree with you and I still love you. So we need to be together, and the reason Saturday night is when our soul goes back, we want to be together with other people. That's exactly the reason Saturday night we get out. It's the exact reason for Saturday Night Fever. And it's the exact reason we're all here together right now. So let's Kadosh Baruch Hu bless us to be together right here, right now, in this moment. Not to think about anything else, just being together right here, right now. And every single night of the week, and every single day, and every single second of our lives to rebuilding Hashem's house. Amen. Amen. ובשם אדוני אקרא סביב ענן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. So everyone has besamim, right? So we're gonna smell this into our souls, not into our heads. It's not drugs. This is something מעשנים. It's כאילו מרוויחים את זה. מרוויחים. מה זה מרוויחים? Smelling in Hebrew is ריח. A smell is ריח. שזו אותו אותיות של רוח. ריח and רוח are the same letters. Spirit and smell are the same letters. Where did Hashem put the soul of Adam HaRishon? Through his nose. איפה הקדוש ברוך הוא שם את הנשמה של אדם הראשון? בתוך האף שלו. אז לנחם את הנשמה שהוא נשאר, to give comfort to our remaining soul, we smell. אנו מרוויחים. וזה הכוונות עכשיו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא מיני בשמים. אמן. למה מכבים את האור בשביל הברכה הזאת? Who knows? Who knows why we turn off the lights for this blessing? Because inside the dark we see the light stronger. And this whole bracha is about separating between light and dark. A lot of you are going back to America right now, and I just want you to know Hashem chooses special people to go to the darker places in the world to spread the light. And Hashem, in a sense, is turning off your light right now during Havdalah by going back to America. And עכשיו יש הרבה רוסים שחוזרים לארצות הברית, ואני אומר להם שהסיבה שהקדוש ברוך הוא ישלח אותם זה לפרוז את האור שהם מקבלים כאן בארץ ישראל שמה, ועכשיו הקדוש ברוך הוא מחבר את האור שלהם ככה שהם יכולים לפרוס את האור יותר טוב. והסיבה שמסתכלים על ציפורניים שלנו, the reason why during this blessing we look at our nails, זה בגלל הציפורניים שלנו אין להן צבע, because you can ask the girls, our nails don't have any color naturally. And אז כמו מי שיודע כאילו science, יודע שצבע יש הרבה אור. בוא נגיד צהוב וחום, right? Yellow and brown. We see the difference between light and side of color. So we look at something clear, אנחנו מסתכלים משהו שאין צבע, כמו ציפורניים שלנו. ולפני שבת, אנו מדליקים שתי נרות. Fred, before Shabbat we light 2 candles, separately, 2 separate wicks. And after we do the tikkun of our guf and neshama on Shabbat, after we bring together our guf and neshama on Shabbat, בהבדלה הלכה זה שתי נרות ביחד. It's 2 wicks together, and that's why we have that right now. So while we're looking at our nails, please have all that in mind. In dark, we see the light stronger to spread this light amongst all of our nation, and our nation should be a light to the other nations. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei ma'orei Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, המעבדים בין קודש לחול, בין אור לחושך, בין ישראל לעמים, בין יום השמים וששת ימי המעשה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המביא לקודש לחול.
הנדסה I think I want to ask everybody from Chutz La'aretz who's here to let's show a hand for all these soldiers.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, people.
Hello.
Thank you, everyone, for chiming in. It's good. Okay. A bunch of people here. There are more who are still coming, and other people who are watching online. It's nice to see everyone around. If you want to show your cameras, they're not being shown into.
Into the cameras.
No, you can show the camera. We'll see the cameras, but we are spotlighted, so you're not being shown online if you don't want to be seen. But it's nice to see your faces if you want to show, so we know who are here, and it's nice to interact as well. We welcome everyone. Thank you so much. We are here with two amazing friends who are hosting us, and it's Jacob and also Lilian Cohen. And they're on the other side of the camera, but they're with us here as well. Okay, we're going to start with the Havdalah, so we can do an Havdel. We can do a separation between Shabbat and the Rosh Chodesh, and also the week. So we're coming really from Shabbat to Rosh Chodesh, to a new month. We're going to talk about this month because it's a very interesting and important month that we get to get started. And well, we'll see. We'll talk about it. The whole idea of what we are, the reason that we wanted to do this virtual Havdalah is for the different reasons and different levels. One is, yes, we would like to share with you some words of Torah and words of Rosh Chodesh and what it means, especially mystically and for the and spiritually, what it means this month for all of us, and also because we want to also support and show support to Israel, especially because we are out of town still, and this is a way for us that virtually we can be all together. And lastly, because we have heard from many and we have received so many messages where we want that people wanted to also express themselves and talk and have a chance to have an outlet and a place where they can say some things if they need to, or if there are questions. So we're going to start with Havdalah first. And anytime that you have any questions, just raise your hand. If you know how to do it with the Zoom, that will be fine for us to let people also share their thoughts and their prayers. And so we're getting ready here with the Havdalah. Thanks to Jacob and to Lilian. We have matches as well, which is great. And if you have your own Havdalah set in your house, be our guest to really light yours. The more lights we light, the more light we light in this world, and in this time will be very beneficial for everyone. We need everyone's light. So if you don't have a light like an Havdalah, if you have a candle, tea lights, or you have the lights of your souls, like your neshamas, that also counts and will be very much very helpful as well. So, ¿quieres decir algo? Saludar.
How are you all?
Good.
Okay.
Very well.
I like to hear that. Tonight we're gonna
And
not only
you,
pray together, but analyze together and grow together. So just bear with us, and it's so beautiful to have you all tonight, just doing this Havdalah and reflections. And we're gonna reflect, and we're gonna learn regarding what is going on with you, with us, with the planet, and what can we do about it from the position that we're in. See, how can we help from the position that we're in? So now, as a part of our support to Israel, it's to be in a best emotional stage you can be, and not only because of you, but also because in order for us to help spiritually to Israel and to our soldiers, it's important to, whenever you think about them, instead of being, what I'm going to say probably is controversial for some people, but instead of being all the time like angry or sad or depressed, it's important that you use like this moment that we're going to sing, and we're going to like do the Havdalah ceremony, that you get connected and try to see if you can feel some type of elevation, some type of happiness, because this will be then unite the happiness, and then you can send it. You know how it goes? It's more like, instead of being sad, you send it love from the sadness. Is not the same as when you send it from a better, higher level of spirituality. So let's do this thing, Rabbi.
Let's do it. Okay. Lai lai la ra 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 lai 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 ya ra 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 lai 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 ya ra 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 lai lai ya ra lai lai ya ra lai 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 ya ra 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 lai lai ya lai ya ra 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 lai 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 ya ra 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 lai lai la la lai 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 lai. Together, lai lai la ra 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 lai 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 lai.
Let me hear you.
La lai 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 la ra 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 lai lai la la lai 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 lai.
Unblock your mics.
Lai
La 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 la. Let's sing together. La 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 la.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen amen. Ay ay la 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 ay la 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 ay la 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 ya la 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 ay la 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 ya la 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 ay la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei besamim borei besamim amen. Lai lai la la lai la la lai ay ay ya da 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 dai 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 ya da 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 dai dai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei mehorei yaesh borei mehorei yaesh amen. Ay lai la ra 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 lai dai ay lai ya ra 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 lai dai ay lai ya ra 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 lai dai ya ra lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu מה מבדיל בין קודש לחול, בין אור לחושך, בין ישראל לעמים, בין יום השביעי לששת ימי המעשה. ברוך אתה אדוני המבדיל בין קודש לחול, אמן. Ay ay ya la 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 ya la 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 ay la ya la 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 ay la ya la 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 la. Take this light from the Havdalah. Look at it. If you have one at home, look at your light. This is Esh. Esh is not just one candle. It's a mix of candles. It's twisted. It's all united. All these different wicks that represents all the souls that are standing now for Israel, solidarity, the whole world, and the whole nations, all different creeds, all different politicians, all different countries. Everyone is really uniting at this point. It's not just division. It's the opposite. It's not separation, it's all about being together. So imagine all that, take it all together and send this light to the place of conflict. Send this light, close your eyes, imagine how you can send this light of everyone united into the place of conflict and see how people just dismantle weapons. People just drop down anger. And little by little, the light of the world, of all nations, the light of all neshamas, of all our souls, of the light of each of us, just make it in the right place for the right reasons, sending love and peace and hope and strength and reparation and a tikkun for everyone involved.
This war is known as the war of the Gog and Magog. It's been propheticized for centuries, and it seems like it has the characteristics of what they call the Gog and Magog war. It is not just about Israel or Palestine, it's about the world, it's about humanity. So this is not just a war, this is us, all as humanity is going to be tested, and is tested as we speak. We've been tested for a while, for now we haven't passed. And we need to pass, and one of the things that is seen is not only the war, but the rest of the world praying together. We need to see that too. We must unite in prayer. We must unite in support, not to one side or the other, because this type of situation is about humanity itself. All the countries are now planning to intervene in one way or another. So let's pray that we all survive through all this. And this is the time that we all need to be together. This is no games anymore. It's not about them and not us. The other one and the other side and not us. This is about the whole humanity. It's time to remember and understand their responsibility as human beings. So when we sing, when we elevate, when we're praying, let's remember we are elevating the whole planet. It's not about just Israel. It's about the whole humanity. Look for it, investigate a little bit, so you will know that this is just not about Israel. This is about all of us. I don't know if in the past we talked about it, probably some of you heard it, but Israel is also in Kabbalah and mysticism. It's also a level of consciousness. It's not just a country. It's not just a people. It is a level of consciousness. So, are we going to elevate to that level, or we're going to still not to be humans? Are we gonna continue fighting each other, killing each other, and not respecting each other? And that's a decision to make as a humankind.
It's the sweetness of this kosher wine. For all of us to beat and to replace the bitterness of the situation today. המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חטאותינו עם כל. זרענו וכספנו ירבה ירבה כחול, וככוכבים בלילה. זרענו וכספנו ירבה ירבה כחול, וככוכבים בלילה. If you have someone next to you, let's hug each other,
Come in.
bringing Eliyahu as the announcement of the Mashiach. That's what we need now. At least if it's not a real person, Mashiach, at least the Messianic era, to be together as we bring Eliyahu Navi, the prophet, Eliyahu, Elijah, the prophet, to bring an announcement, the herald of Messianic times. Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Atishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi, Bimeida, Biyameida, Yado Eleino, Imashiach, David, Imashiach, and David, Eliyahu Navi, Eliyahu Atishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi. Very quickly, speedily bring the Mashiach ben David, the Mashiach ben Yosef, anyone that has to do with the Messianic time, so we can elevate our soul, we can elevate our state of mind, we can all be Israel. Just as Marcella says, the Rebbetzin says, the nation, but Israel in a state of mind. That means actually when the nations of the world, not just the nation of Israel, but all the nations that are helping, are elevating their prayers, elevating their souls, elevating their minds, and being into the help to bring a better humanity, they're all elevating into the state and level of Israel, of being Israel. Shavua Tov, 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 Shavua Tov. Shavua Tov, Shavua Tov. Beautiful, beautiful. It's nice to sing. It's nice to warm up our hearts, our souls. As you saw probably, those who were watching the video, as you were coming in, it was the IDF chanting and singing Havdalah and strengthen themselves together. And if you probably have watched a lot of videos on social media, I know you have been watching, I'm sure, like all of us, a lot of social media, at least the ones that really calm my heart and calm my soul, is when I see, these soldiers encouraging all of us to be stronger. If they can say, sing, dance for us, we can't probably right now, and those who are, hiding there and they're singing songs of weddings, and the other one who's celebrating a bar mitzvah, and then you have the other one, who was supposed to get married, so they make a mock, wedding, and they're chanting and singing. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
You know why they're doing it? Who knows? Who wants to participate and let us know? Why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think their soldiers are singing and they pray psalms and things like that?
To bring positive energy.
Huh?
To bring positive energy.
Okay, what else? Ivana, you were going to say something?
They have faith.
They have faith. Well, not only that they have faith, but also when you are in high level of vibration, let's put it, I know those are words that are not really Jewish words, but when you are in a high pit, it's when you attract good things. So they know in Kabbalah, they know, and the Hasidics know that. So that's why the Hasidics, when they are chanting, when they do celebrate services and things, they chant, and that's why they sing and they do this. That's exactly what they're trying to do. It's elevate their feelings, how they feel. So, and a lot of our soldiers, they go to Shabbos and they practice with this type of rabbis. So they learned that it is part of our the wisdom, the Jewish wisdom. So when we want you guys to sing, and that's one of the reasons that Simchat Torah was not canceled at Temple Bethel when we did it, was for you to elevate yourselves, because if we need to be stable. You need to be stable. We need to be together. That's why it's so important. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Yeah, there's also someone, Josh is saying that because no one crushes our spirits. That's true. That's true.
There we go. Yes.
And then Ruthie, thank you for your participation, showed us that we need to continue the celebrations. Yes, we need to continue celebrations. It's really what Robertson is saying, to elevate your spirit. You know, it's much better. Regardless of the outcome, regardless of what is going to be the outcome, you know, at least you go into a better spirit. Even in times of King David, when he used to go to war, you know, there was also celebration. There were the big work spirit, as we are reminded all the time that when we open the ark, you know, and we do a Torah service in the synagogue, and we sing Vayehi binso Aharon Vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai, right? It's Adonai, it's God, you know, helping Hashem, helping us. Vayafutzu oivecha, to fight against the enemy. That's what we're saying when we open the ark. I know we think we are talking about the Torah at that moment. We are not, because they used to carry the Mishkan with the Torah inside. They used to carry it with the 12 tribes, 3 on each side. It was like a tactic. It was like a strategy of how to fight during the wilderness. That's how they used to do it. 3 tribes on the left, 3 tribes on the right, 3 on the north, and then the south, with the Mishkan in the middle, singing Vayehi binso Aharon Vayomer Moshe, right? So
it is known as a segulot, as a matter of fact. If you see that piece and you read it and you visualize it, it's like a segulot for the rabbis. So it is not just a song or just a prayer. It is like a important prayer for you to pray when you're afraid, when you think that you are in danger.
In danger.
So think about that every time you will listen to that. This is the one when you are in danger. That's one of the prayers to keep with you, if you think or you feel that you're in danger.
So before we continue, I would love to open if anyone has any thoughts or any share of feelings. If you would like just to open the mic or raise your hand first, so we know who you are, and share, you know, anything. I don't know if anyone's watched, had a chance, but you know, it happens to all of us. 2 nights ago, I just went at 11 o'clock, 11, and I started to share my thoughts, and because we all need to have a way to communicate and to share and express ourselves. Does anyone would like to share anything specifically?
How you're feeling?
How you're feeling?
The level of joy, the level of frustrations. If you're sad, if you're depressed, what's going on with you?
I am concerned.
Okay.
I am concerned that this is not a just in Israel. I am concerned that there will be expansion and that we are all going to be into it, the world, not just Israel. I think that is a start, unfortunately. Very concerned.
It's a legitimate concern, as a matter of fact. Anybody else?
Well, I think that I am very afraid that Israel, he is surrounded right now. Right now, they have two fronts to fight. It's not only the Gaza Strip, they starting today with Hezbollah, in the north. And I am really very worried if they gonna have the strength to be fighting against at least these two right now. And you never know what it can happen later on too. But I have a lot of optimism, and I trust Israelis, and because I know that they have a tremendous strength. But in very deep in my mind and in my heart, I am afraid how strong we are.
I also want to also add, and it all will come out eventually, of course, but I cannot, it's inexplicable that with the might and the knowledge of the Mossad and the interaction with the CIA in the United States, that this could not have been prevented by anticipating it and knowing about it. I cannot believe that could not happen. I think it did not happen. And the question is, why did it happen?
Ruthie, I would like to read what you were saying here. It says, I sent my son to a bar mitzvah at the Hilton Hotel tonight. I heard that I had to even think twice about sending him. Yeah, so we start feeling like I'm safe in some way.
Totally. Totally feeling unsafe. And not just that, but I have a whole group chat with all of the moms from my kids' school. And everybody was going back and forth. Should we send the kids? Should we send the kids? Should we send the kids? And we all decided to send the kids because nobody would have showed up for that boy. And they're doing it in like such a beautiful place. So we all sent them on a bus, but we're all scared to death.
Okay.
That is something I never had to think about. That's crazy. And all I could think about is a bus with like 25 Jewish boys with kippot on their head, and God help us if anybody like looks through the bus.
Okay, anybody else? Thank you, Ruthie.
Thank you, Ruthie.
I just want to say that I'm shattered by everything that's going on. Like, I just feel like we collectively have a moral obligation to like do something, like not only to like educate others that like this is unacceptable, but it's just like it's just the gravity of it. Like David's seen it. Like I've had so many sleepless nights, and like Israel is just at the heart, soul, and everything of my life. Like there was a point in time where I wanted to move there, and like it's still like I feel like we just have a moral obligation to like, have ammunition, to have ammo, to do everything in our power to just like defy this. And it's wrecked my brain. It's honestly, I cannot believe it's happening again. And it's really disheartening.
It is very important that we always check on something. And you realize that for us, it's always difficult to answer anything you guys have to say because it's a legitimate feeling, is legit and it has all the value of the world wherever you're feeling. Whatever we're feeling is, we also feel. We also think, oh wow, how are we going to support the congregation? We need to be strong ourselves and be clear that whatever we have to tell you, we actually believe it. At least that's what we want to say. When we are exposed to trauma, we need to always, in order for us to manage our level of anxiety, we need to always be careful. and take care of ourselves in which way? Participating the way we're doing it, helping the way we are, each in our level of capacity, money, support to others, right? What makes us feel good. But also we need to watch out how much news we watch, how many videos we consume all day, how many radio and how many people talk about it all day. Because then your levels of anxiety go up, you cannot sleep in the night. We get to have even discussions among our homes, depending on what the ideals are among our communities. And that's exactly what, and I'm now going to mention spiritual words, let's put it that way, or mystic words. That's what darkness was. Evil was us to start fighting each other, not only among Jews, but among human beings.
To be afraid.
Yeah, to be afraid, to be, and it's super hard to say, how you want me not to be afraid? How you want me not to fight? Well, you need to realize that the more we fight, the more divided we are. And I cannot tell you, I don't think I'm the one to tell you, that what was the stage of Israel at this point, what we were doing as a country. We were distracted, fighting, among ruling a land that it was everybody's land. Right now is not the time to start picking fights or picking discussions or differences of opinions with people. Right now it's time for you to save your energy to feel the best you can and to do the right decisions. Even the decision of, okay, how much I'm gonna watch Fox News, how much I'm gonna, or how long I'm gonna watch CNN, or for how long I'm gonna watch this or this. You need to know for how long and with whom you're gonna talk and for how long you're gonna talk. And if you have people telling you about fear all day, just watch how you're feeling. Are you gonna be able to function? And when we get agitated, then we get sensitive. And when we get sensitive, what happens? We fight like this. No time for fighting. In this moment, we cannot get into discussions, even with people who differs from our opinion. This is not the time to, how can you gonna say that? This is not the time, because we need to pray. Get busy praying. Get busy doing things that are good for you and good for others. Fighting each other, to trying to convince the other one of your opinion or how you see things, is not helping you, and it's not going to help us each other as a humanity or as a country. This is not the time to fight. And I'm not telling you that you guys are fighting. I'm just letting you know, because then we're already seeing videos, people discussing in the supermarkets or having a difference of opinion and fighting each other. That's what darkness was once. That's how evil functions. They hurt you, and where it hurts. That's why they're showing the videos killing people. What do you think they're doing that? So you get saying that's another weapon. And you need to see, you be smart enough not to get caught in it. That's another weapon. They're not killing you, but they're killing us. They're killing through the videos. That's pure evil, and you buying it. We buying it. So we just need to, you're not getting my energy here. You can close that. You don't need to watch the whole negativity all day. You don't need to. You need to know what's going on, but not necessarily. You get anxious, get a book of Psalms and start reading. Get it as a coping skill. You get anxious, get a book of Psalms and start reading, and get a book of, it works. Believe me, it works.
Yeah, what the Robertson is saying about the weapon, this is a weapon of the 21st century for sure. And it's a strong one. And today, I was just remembering, some of you are older than others, and you might remember when another words, another news were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. you couldn't even see what was going on, until the news will present it, once a day, maybe some news, international news, will come onto the TV. So today we know that social media and any type of social media, it's a big weapon, and not only just because they can show things, but also they can show fake things. So you believe what your eyes are. The other day I was talking about fasting not only just on nutrition and food, but also fasting of how much your eyes and your ears consume. So have that in mind, that this is another weapon that can kill your emotions, your stability, and that's the way to really do it for them, because they can't really harm you in other ways right now, and that's something that you can have a stop anytime you need it, anytime you want. I see that Josh is writing something on the chat. Says, I'm sad, angry, and heartbroken. I don't understand how, as a country, we were so united in fighting terrorism after 9/11. Now we see open anti-Semitism against Jews everywhere. It is sickening. Where are we as a country right now? Why is this behavior being allowed on college campuses? Why are people defending the same people that killed Americans in cold blood on 9/11? It's very heartbroken for sure, and it's very discouraging, Josh. Dina is saying why it is so hard to be Jewish.
Oh my God. Dina, it breaks my heart when you said that. It is also beautiful. We are so unique. And we also right now we need to see that. I know it breaks my heart when you say that. Being Jewish is beautiful too. Right now it seems like really hard. But we need to also see the beauty in it. And also part of the beauty that I'm seeing, because one of the good ways to work on this, every time you see something dark and evil, you can say, I bless the good in this and I want to see it. So you get to see what you cannot see because your emotions are really cutting in your heart at this point. But when I bless the good in this and I want to see it. Because what is good in this now, my tears come out of my eyes when I saw Argentina, full of the streets of Argentina. Oh, we stand with Israel. The streets of Brazil, full. We stand with Israel. You need to see that too. You need to see that too. The streets of France, full. Full the streets. We stand with Israel. We stand with the Jewish people. You need to see that they were in New York. There were 5,000 people, Catholics
marching.
We stand with the Jews. We stand with Israel. You need to see that too. You cannot just see that here and there. You need to concentrate also on what you want. Whatever you concentrate on grows. See those too. Don't ignore the ones that are supporting you. The ones that are supporting the people of Israel. It's not about just seeing the ones that are against us. It's also acknowledge those that are in the streets in the different countries saying, we stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. We need to see it in Europe, in South America. In America, there are too. Catholics, Christians, in all these Christian churches, they're praying for us. So you need to see that too. And we need to be grateful for the efforts that others are doing for us. Please open your hearts too, open your minds too, to see that. Because that will uplift you. We're not alone.
But how do you explain the the ugly or the sad side of things when even in our country here, we have a group of anti-Semites that are carrying the Palestinian flag and are saying all that the news reports about babies being decapitated is false. That's the evil. Unfortunately, how do we get rid of anti-Semitism worldwide, which is a cancer that has permeated all these issues? It's not only Israel, it's worldwide. On the positive side, which I agree with you, we have to also look at the positive side, but we also have to be realistic. So in being realistic, we have to find a way to remedy the ugly. And how do we do it? How do we get rid of worldwide anti-Semitism is my question, because that's the cancer that is causing all this worldwide. It's not as pretty as we want to see it. I saw, yes, in France, they showed and in London, they showed the Israeli flag, but on the other hand, they have a bunch of French people with the flags and kill the Jews. So how do you deal with this?
Unfortunately, Ruthie, if I wouldn't have the answer, I would tell you. But one of the things that I do when I see those things is
That wasn't me. Just letting you know.
Now
Not
we have
Ruthie.
to add two roots.
Okay. Sorry.
I am not Ruthie. I am Ruth.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Ruthie with a TH.
Nice to meet you, Ruthie with the TH. I'm Ruthie with the TI.
You know, for us, it's so beautiful to see you all, like from all different ages and all different and all together. It is so beautiful. I don't have the answer, Ruth, but I do tell you that for me, it's also important to see the ones that are pro us instead of only concentrating myself on the other side. Like Josh is saying, I understand and I give acknowledgement, but I feel like negative is more prevalent now. Yeah, it could seem like that, but also what it doesn't help us feeling afraid. We have to feel hopeful and we have to be with the ones that support us.
Well, we can be both. We can be hopeful. We can pray. We can.
I'm not saying that we'll be blind.
My question for everyone is, everyone is right here, because they are your feelings. Like Marcela said at the beginning, is all legit. We are not in favor against your feelings or our feelings. Is that when you have the chance to choose what is better for your state of mind, for your emotions, for your health, right? Because the biggest thing, and I mentioned this on my video the other day, is the feeling of guilt and the feeling of impotence, right? That the frustration that we are not there, we can't really do much. Yes, we can help maybe with financial, with money and everything, but what else can we do? And in order even to do anything, in one way or another, whether it's physically, spiritually, emotionally, or mentally, wherever it is, how can we really help if we are frightened, if we are afraid? So we need to choose also what we decide to do. Yes, we might be afraid. We are frustrated. So the question, but also there are people who are helping. So I prefer when a few, just before Rosh Hashanah, we have a few parshiot, a few Torah portions that talk about choosing life, right? And also choosing between the curse. I put in front of you curse and blessing, and I choose life, right? So the curse and the blessing is all the time there for us. The curse might be darkness in this case, and all these videos and all these other emotional visuals that we see or we read, or anything that we see, manifestations and people with the flags, etc., one side or the other. And I can choose to watch that and be affected by that. That's choosing curse. Klala. But if I choose the other way, I can see the sky surfers, who come to Israel, the 5,000 people, if you see our channel, in Instagram from Bethel, most of the time it's me reposting the stories. I don't repost anything that actually shows, because everyone else, you can see it. So I choose life. I choose to see, the IDF who is positive. I choose to see people who are supporting Israel in different places and different ways and everything. Okay, hello. We have dogs who also want to opinionate. It's fine. And the question is how any of these decisions, choosing klala, curse, or to choose blessing, is going to affect you, especially when we are like this, or we feel like we are like this, right? I'm frustrated because we are not there right now. So how we can support, and that's my point here for everyone. I choose to see the positive things. Once in a while, I see everything that's going on because the positive thing exists too. It's not that it's faking reality. I need to see that as well because it gives me hope. If it gives me hope, it gives me good start. It gives me good stamina. It gives me, better health decisions, and I can be okay. There is hope, and I know the other thing also exists. But how damaging can be for me to start watching all the time that and just feel totally hopeful and just, it's very difficult if I'm going to cry all the time, because how can I help others? How can I help even Israel? How can I help myself if I only watch the curse?
Guys, this is a decision. You make the decision on how you're going to do it. Each of you have the decision to do what you want with your own energy and your own time and your own ways to see things. We can help you or not, but each of you have a decision to make. Evelyn was first.
Okay, Evelyn, and then Richard.
Thank you, Evelyn.
I just want to say that
Richard, we go after.
that's funny because on October 7th, it was my birthday, and
Well,
Oh wow.
and we had a beautiful dinner, and we were in Bonn, Germany, and my husband was trying to cover what was going on until 9 o'clock in the evening, European time, where I start receiving text messages. So the curtain was open, and I was in Germany. That's funny. Going back to Germany, my family's German Jewish. It was some sort of bazaar that I was there at that moment, and that happened. But I just want to say that what Marcela says, I think it's beautiful, and it's your choice to decide, see half of the glass full and not half of the glass empty. There's always hope, and it's really beautiful to see how many countries were out. Argentina, Brazil, I saw Cordoba, I saw, Chile, many countries supporting Israel. But on the other side, I think when Ruth says, when is this hate going to end? I think there is a portion of being realistic, especially when I write here, I'm a mature lady. It's not about me anymore. What happens with the younger generation and anti-Semitism? When I think about that, my daughter is in Boston by herself, and the conversation right now has to be, Dana, be careful. Don't worry, Magen David. Look at your surroundings. So why? Because I'm trying her to be alert. Because unfortunately, we have to be alert. I think it's not A or B. I think it's a combination of A and B.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
yes,
Of course.
it is.
We don't have to be
is.
blind and stupid.
It's
of course,
it's just that you need to have a balance. Just because you need to continue for living.
Yeah.
We must continue living. We must continue. And the people of Israel has continued over and over and over throughout the years, throughout the centuries, throughout. And it's unfortunately that we have to see both sides, but at least also see the second side.
Yeah, but I also think that as Jews, and I don't want to be so extensive, but just one little thing. I just was seeing a group of Latinas lady, and I was the only Jew, and they were asking me, and I thought, well, one of my tasks or one of our tasks is also educate them and explain them that Palestinians are not terrorists, that Palestina is not Hamas, that there are two different pair of shoes, that Hezbollah is not Palestina. So educate people because they don't know. People don't know. And I think one of our mission here is try to explain them. You know, this is not about civilians. This is about these people are so fanatic. They say they're going to elevate their soul if they kill Jews. I mean, I think that's one of our missions, not only sing and pray, Marcela and Rabbi, but perhaps try to educate people and take them
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Just 3 nights ago, we were with a Spanish podcast and live on Facebook with also Dr. Luis Fleischman, who was this morning at Bethel. And we were talking for an hour and a half, explaining and educating the Hispanic non-Jewish community. Absolutely. Of course, we need to educate.
Not only educate people, but also educate ourselves. Because we always have a piece of the history, we don't have it all. And sometimes it is important that we also educate ourselves so we can try to neutralize the hate or the anger and kind of be more objective, not that you're going to be on one side or another. It's more like when you talk to people, you need to know your drill. You need to know so you can educate with objectiveness.
Which is very similar what's happening in campuses, as Josh was saying before. I also have, we have 3 kids, and 3 of them are in college.
2 in Boston.
2 in Boston and 1 here. And it's true. Those kids who also go with the Palestinian, flag and demonstrations and as well, they don't have the full story either. So they just manifest themselves without having the full script. And we as Jews, sometimes we don't have the full script either. Every day I'm watching also new videos with new part of the history that I myself, as a rabbi and educator, I even missed, to really know.
How many of you knew? I'm sorry, before I say that. Richard, I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Yes. A few thoughts here. I was very sad the first few days, and I'm still sad off and on. I was thinking, but then I wrote out a check to American Friends of Magan Adam, put it in the mail. It was not a big check, but I felt so much better that I was doing something. And my wife gets sick of this quote I use all the time: it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. And I guess we had some of that tonight with lighting a candle. And I can't speak about anti-Semitism around the world very much because I haven't been, but thinking about the reaction here in the United States, one thing we should remember, the president probably made the strongest statement any American president has ever made in support of Israel since Truman. And the overwhelming majority in Congress of both parties would agree with what he said. The people who are putting out these anti-Semitic viewpoints, yes, they're loud, and with social media, you can amplify that way beyond the numbers, but you got to remember they are a small minority. And Ruth's question, how do we ever get rid of it? I don't know that we'll ever totally get rid of it. I think of that quote from the Pirkei Avot. It's not your job to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it.
Correct.
One day at a time, day by day. The education work that Rabbi and Rebbitzin both mentioned is a big part of it. Human connection, humanizing the Jewish people to non-Jewish people may come without that. That's what we do. I mean, Tikkun Olam is our job as Jews, and this is one part of it. It's a part that affects us the most right now in this moment, but it's part of our, bigger project to make the world a better place.
That's such a beautiful statement. Thank you, Richard. One thing that I want you to also see something. You know how many people in the world wants to convert to Judaism?
Yeah.
I'm one of them. And that's not because they hate you.
Yeah.
Because we love.
Yeah.
See, the faith, we love the philosophy, we love the wisdom behind. We also need to see that.
Hmm.
There is no, and anti-Semitism has changed over the years. I've never been exposed to anti-Semitism. If I'm gonna be honest, if I've been rejected, it's been by Jews,
Yeah.
Well, today,
not by other people.
today we had a conversation with a friend and who lived in many different countries, and as a Sephardic Jew, he felt mainly his life rejected and really by Jews, especially in this case Ashkenazi, with Sephardim. Never heard, and lived in Germany for many years and worked for Germans, and never heard a word about anti-Semitism until he faced some of the Ashkenazi Jews. So we need to also be realistic that sometimes the hatred, remember 2,000 years ago, that we always remember this in Tisha B'Av, the baseless hatred, right? And unfortunately it continues. I live it through myself as a rabbi, with other Jews who say they're more religious. I don't know if they're more spiritual, but they say they're more religious, and it's continue happening. It happened in Israel just in the last year, the last months. The whole protest about what it is, and this one and that one, and the politics. And so we need to also be.
We need to be responsible. Stop being only victims and see what we create among us. See, sometimes the anti-Semitism is among the whole the family. So
it's at home.
Seriously, we also need to. How many people is converting to Judaism? You know how many people is studying Kabbalah in the world that is not Jew? Thousands. I would call millions.
Millions.
All that people is supporting Israel today and is supporting the Jews today. It's also that we need to see how we behave among each other. When we were in Aventura, Rabbi and me, we were kind of conservative dogs. We walked to shul, the whole 9 yards. The whole 9 yards. And the ones we were like 5 synagogues around us. You see, we were a very Jewish neighborhood.
Yeah.
And when we were walking, and I was wearing, like long sleeve, long skirts and things like that, they would not say hi. No, they would not say Shabbos, good Shabbos to us, because we were the ones from the modern,
the lesser.
What's that? If that is not anti-Semitism among us, what is it? So we need to also watch out who we are as a community. See, concentrating that others hate us, but I've seen more hate among each other than what I've seen among others. And I know I converted, and I don't have the persecution in my blood. I get it, but at the same time, I've been mistreated or humiliated or looking as less because I converted. When I went to school for years, studied Torah for years. I've been consecrated to being a devoted Jew for years. But then we decide to divide ourselves because this one looks this way or this one looks the other. Sometimes I honestly believe that it's almost a business of others. Call it anti-Semitism, but we don't take care of our own sometimes by dividing each other. So that's something for us to see.
Yeah, but the type of
it's always easier to look at others' stuff instead of being fair and saying I made a mistake. I'm discriminating because she's brunette or she doesn't look Ashkenazi or she doesn't look this way or she has an accent, and we can extend that to many fields, Marcela. I lived 6 years in Germany as an Argentinian Jew with zero conflict, zero. And my mom, when I said, I'm going to move to Germany, she said, your grandma's going to move to Germany. I said, okay, I'm moving anyway. I've been more discriminated, and sorry, I don't want to stereotype here, in Iowa as a Jew in United States, as an Argentinian Jew, rather than the 6 years I lived in Germany. And this is my personal experience. So I'm absolutely with you, Marcela, on that. 100%.
So Ruthie says 100%. This is something for us to also see. What happened in Israel? We were divided by different views. Why do we have to, how I'm going to see a fellow Jew in my neighborhood because he's going to a different shul, and I'm not going to say good Shabbos to you?
Especially in front of your own kids. What are you teaching? Talking about education.
So we want others to see us with compassion, with love, but we are not always kosher in the way we behave. We need to see that too. I mean, these are I bless the good in this and I want to see it. And we also need to see the lessons behind it. Absolutely everything. So we're looking for others to take care of us, to not to reject us, not to discriminate against us, but we do that all the time.
Yeah,
Or not.
Yeah, but can I say something?
Absolutely, you always can say something.
I always have to say something. What you call anti-Semitism, that you have felt because you were looked at this way or ignored or not accounted for or whatever. That type of anti-Semitism cannot compare to the anti-Semitism that the Israelis are going through. You're not being killed. You have a right to speak up or ignore them as well, or whatever. And in terms of being looked at this way and that way and the other, it's because unfortunately the Chabad are extremists. Women cannot be on the bima, they cannot, et cetera, et cetera. It has to do with the different branches of Judaism. It's not directed at one person because she converted or she looks this way or that way. It has to do, Rabbi knows better than I, and it has to do with the extremes in our different branches of religion.
How that make us different from other extremes?
Well, it depends. If we can continue living, it makes a difference. But if they attack us and kill our kids,
I'm not defending myself, Ruth. I'm just giving an example of how because I'm not even bothered about that. I'm just saying that it is among us. We fight each other for reasons that are not really necessary. See, that are really so strong, and we hurt each other so deeply. See, and anti-Semitism is not only about killing people. Anti-Semitism is about people saying mean things to you because you're Jew, about being discriminated against you because you're Jew, in terms of jobs, in terms of business, in terms of all that. All that can be called anti-Semitism.
Yeah, but it's also racism exists in the world, anti-Semitism, all these kinds of negative, terrible behavior is everywhere.
Ellen,
I'd like to
say your name.
My name is Ellen. I am very, very grateful to be here. And I think that our strength is shown by the fact that in the face of all the threat that's going on right now, that we have chosen to come together at the shul, to be together. And that is our strength. And I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight and trying to find some common ground and a new direction of where to go from here. And what are we doing? We're turning to the shul, we're turning to the rabbis, and we're turning to each other. And that is where our strength is. Thank you, everybody, for showing up tonight.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I
want to share just a few words about Rosh Chodesh, and and the reason I want to share this is because it's part of our tradition as well. When we study for Rosh Chodesh, each month carries a weight on different aspects. So already from Abraham Abraham Avinu, our forefather Abraham, who looked at the stars. Remember when God said to Abraham, look at the stars, if you can count them, right? And it says that your descendants are going to be as many as the stars in the sky. So we consider in our tradition Abraham to be our first astrologer, astrologist. And but it's true actually. And according to tradition, based on tradition, Abraham wrote or spoke about what then became a book called the Book of Formation, the Sefer Yetzirah. And in that book, he's the one, if you think when you read in the newspaper or you watch the news, and you have the astrologers who always say, okay, this month we start the zodiac sign of Gemini or Libra, etc. Abraham Avinu already had it, and he wrote about that as well. He wrote only 3 pages, according to tradition, and based on that, there's a lot of things written about it and interpretation. So this month of Mar Cheshvan is the month of Cheshvan. And Cheshvan is the name of the month, but before Cheshvan, the tradition and the rabbis have said that we call it Mar Cheshvan. Mar means bitter, Cheshvan. But the bitterness is not just because of the things that are going on right now, but it's called Mar Cheshvan because the only month that has no holidays whatsoever. So they felt after Tishrei, celebrating Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, and Shmini Atzeret, and Simchat Torah, have all these holidays, and all of a sudden nothing. They say, my God, this is so bitter. And they call it Mar Cheshvan. But regardless of that, the word Mar, because you know that the Jewish people love to play around with the words, if you take the word Mar, you can also change and switch the letters, and we'll have the same energy, but switch the letters M and R, and put the R first and then the Mem, and it's called Ram. When you say Ram Benissa, right, we elevate Cheshvan. So from bitterness, we need to elevate Cheshvan. So Mar is bitterness, and Ram means to elevate. So how beautiful it is already that anything that is happening right now, that we can elevate somehow. From wherever point we are, from any state of emotions and mind that we are, that we try at least this little, if we can, to elevate our prayers, elevate a negative thought to something positive, look more into, in the balance, try to look more a little into the hopeful things that you see, the positive things more than the negative things. So that's one of the lessons there. You have something to say?
Yes, I just wanted to bring that because you were talking about that. Ruthie, who has been fighting between hope and no hope. She just sent us this, and thank you, Ruthie. I just want to honor you with this. She was saying, this gift gives me hope. This was this week's Parsha, and give me hope. And what she says is, I am Hashem who called you. I will strengthen your hands, and I will create an alliance with the Jewish nation in front of all the other nations, to show that we are united in front of the world. I will open the blind eyes and to free the prisoners sitting in the dark. I told you, if you get desperate, get the Psalms. Start reading. The messages are there. You would not lose hope. Start reading. Let's pray together. Every time you get desperate, you're seeing things, you're crying, elevate your soul by reading the Psalms. It will elevate your soul, and it will help the planet. And it will elevate you. Thank you, Ruthie. I wanted just to honor you, and I appreciate that you sent this to us. Continue, Rabbi.
Thank you. So that's one of the lessons of Cheshvan, and Mar Cheshvan, and Ram Cheshvan, especially in the time that we are right now. The other thing that it was mentioned, in this book from the Book of Formation, from Abraham Avinu, from our forefather Abraham, is that in the time they knew about just 7 planets. They didn't know more than the 7 planets. They didn't know even that Pluto was not going to be a planet later on, etc. Things change, with science and everything. But there is always an influence planet that influences each of these months. And this planet that it was chosen in this book of formation to be the month of Cheshvan is the planet called Mars, right? Everyone knows Mars. That's where the Martians come from and everything. Mars, if you know, remember what color is the planet?
You guys know what color
Those
is?
who like to see in telescopes? No, it's red, correct. It's red. And it's a planet that is always related to, in a way, to bloodshed, with battles, with wars. As a matter of fact, for the Greeks, it was Mars was kind of the god of war. So it was always related to fights and to conflicts. And I want to bring this to your attention because whether you believe or not in the Chassidut, or the Hasidic and the Jewish mysticism, this is something that is in our tradition. And I want to bring it up to you because sometimes we don't get to read these things. Sometimes we don't have access to this, or if we have access, we don't know exactly what could be or what couldn't. But I want to bring it to your attention because, as you know, the cosmos and the stars and the planets and the water and the air and all the 4 elements, they'll have influence in who we are as people. They're part of the creation as well. And when you go and you say, okay, I was born, on October 7th, so it's Libra, and that means actually it's the scale, the sign of this. That means I need to look for balance and this kind of thing, and I'm this way and I'm the other way. Is anyone from Scorpio here?
Me,
Who is me?
Ruth.
Ruth, you're from Scorpio. Anyone else from Scorpio? You're from Scorpio?
The best little girl of the class.
That's okay. When is your birthday?
The biggest mouth.
That's okay. When is your birthday, Ruth?
Unfortunately, it's November 9th, which is Crystal Nacht.
Crystal Nacht.
But a few years later, not
Later.
not that many.
There are other things that happen on November 9th that are not as bad as Crystal Nacht, so look at those days too. It's good to have also other references than just the Crystal Nacht. What is your birthday?
November the 20th.
November 20th?
And I'm also Ruth.
And you also Ruth in Hebrew. You see how many Ruth? Marcela is Marcela is Ruth Masal. But how many Ruth we have here? And Ruth changed the world. Remember that Ruth, is the great grandmother of King David, and from King David will come the Mashiach. So, it's good to have a lot of Ruth here, surrounded by Ruth. Anyone from Scorpio? No? Okay. So I'm going to mention some things about Scorpio, and I know it looks like it's a class of astrology. It's not really. This is really Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism as well, and it comes from the Book of Formation, beyond our times, more than 4,000 years ago. So Scorpio is considered to be also a month and the sign and a zodiac sign that is influenced also by water. And water, very well, that is related to emotions. I'm from Cancer, for example, and Cancer is also influenced by water, and we are very emotional in many ways. And Scorpios are particularly irrational. Sorry, Ruth and Ruth.
Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna just put my little mouth there.
Yeah.
The description of the signs, characteristics. There is a Kabbalistic astrology and normal astrology, so there's a difference there. And also there is the shadow side of the sign and the light side of the sign. So not necessarily when they say that this is happening when somebody has a very low level of consciousness. So please don't take it like
don't take it personally. It's when you are really unbalanced and more balanced, and you can always go in the middle like anything else. But these are characteristics that are known. Just even the rabbis in Spain, will talk about this, especially because they will learn astrology, and they will be very much connected also with the stars and the moon and everything. So and it's important that you, if you can, just stay, bear with me until the end, so you understand what we can learn from this, what we can learn from this Chodesh of Cheshvan, and what it's our job and responsibility that we can all take home today. You're all home. We are not, particularly, in our home in Davie. So there is a tendency to be more rational, and when it comes especially to the emotions, there is a characteristic to go to the extremes, both in both positive and also negative respects. And there is sometimes only black and white. There's not so much of gray areas. If we are not a friend of a Scorpio, then it seems that sometimes by default you might be your enemy, and also will most definitely be treated that way as well. Scorpios also seems to be that have a tremendous desire for power and also control, and seek those at any cost. Now, it's important that what you're hearing now, what the rabbis will say all the time, is not necessarily that this is just the month for Scorpio. This is kind of the energy of Scorpio that can be influenced to all of us. So if we need something to work about being in power, being in control, being irrational, or being very imbalanced into one way or another, or be in black and white, that's something that no matter what sign or what zodiac sign you are, you need to work on, because it's in the air in a way. You want to say something?
Yes. Why are we, Rabbi is talking about this, is because we are in a month in which those energies are in the world. You can see that those characteristics of the dark side of that sign, which are also the characteristics of this month, are actually in the air, evidently, and that's what is happening in the world. You see, the need of control, all of that stuff is just exacerbating more and more and more during this time. So it's not about, he's not teaching you about astrology and your sign. He's more like about talking about how it is happening very strongly right now among the energy of the planet.
And the reason I'm talking about this is for you to be aware, because sometimes we don't know this information, and all the time we go through the whole month, and we don't know why it's affected, why I'm fighting with this one and that one, why I have the feeling to be more extreme or being into the poles and both ends. So because there is a sense of unnecessary force and violence is part also of the month, because also Mars is there, and Mars is related to war. So it is unfortunate, and it's probably no coincidence that this just started a few days ago, a week ago, that was heading into the last part of Tishrei, in the last month of Tishrei, and getting into the month of Cheshvan, which is mainly the month of Scorpio in that way. So, but in a way, the whole what it calls us for this kind of world of extremes, the Scorpio also loves everything, and love is everything for Scorpio. So if a Scorpio, or characteristic of Scorpio, will feel that the love is not reciprocated, this love can turn also into hate. So sometimes it can be misinterpreted, but love is really from where they come from. Sometimes it's kind of like the way of, because it's difficult sometimes for some Scorpios to forgive and to forget. So what we want to learn, is how to do a tikkun of these negative characteristics, right? Because that's where the Scorpios can balance, and we, influenced by Scorpio or Scorpion energy and characteristics for this month, we can also do to help. Because I know we have a war out there, but also it's something that we can do in our own homes. We can, each of us, really work on our own lives. We all have this opportunity, and the more we can really work on our own selves, in our own lives, in our own businesses, in our own relationships, we can actually emanate that into others as well. And believe me, it works. It works and it helps. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Every dictator or every leader who has hurt his people or her people, whatever the leader is, usually has been hurt by his family, by his past, by his people. The lack of forgiveness and the lack of healing in his life brings him or her to want to have power. And usually you get to have that power, but if you haven't healed, then we have a powerful, hurt person. So if we have each of you wants to not be discriminated against, start working on not discriminating others. You will only attract what you are. And that's so hard to hear, and I know probably some of you are going to feel Marcela is crazy, she's not right. I don't care. Try it, and you'll see how it will change your reality. You will change you need to see, you want to work on being loved, work on love others. Work on stop thinking always that you are the victim of everything that happens in you. And no, I'm not talking about anymore about only about what is going on in the Middle East and what is going on in anti-Semitism. We concentrate only about we're being discriminated against. But in order for us to transform into what is it when you do with the transform? Yeah, transform. What is going on? Start by transforming you. Seriously, this is a deep feeling. We don't want to think about it. We just want to see it from outside. But if we need to see how we are behaving. When you emanate love, you only will have that around you, even if you are Jew. Because I know Jews that have never been discriminated against, and I have one in front of me right now. And he's not only happy, but also successful and happy human being. And he says, I've never been discriminated against in my life. So it doesn't mean, and that needs to be for something, for a reason. I care about the others, but it's not my experience. So there are Jews in this world that feel like that. And I have one in front of me now. So I invite you to please think also that instead of only thinking about outside, we want love. I want to work on me being lovely to others. I don't want people to discriminate against me. I need to watch myself and how am I discriminated against something, somebody? How are my words? Are my words kind, or I'm being hurtful to others? And those are the things to start working on. We need to take responsibility for our words and our energy and the way we behave. And that's one of the only ways we can transform the outcome of this war in the planet. And it's not only about Jews, it's about everybody. Look for the Gog and Magog war. It is seems like it has the characteristics, and we will survive. We will pass it. We will.
There is a characteristic by the Scorpions actually that they're very, very powerful in intuition, powerful in spirituality, and also very mystical powers as well. And remember that the month of Cheshvan, although there are no holidays, is the month that we read the book of the story of Noah, of Noah's Ark and Noah, and we read it next week. And in the 17th of Cheshvan, we remember the story of the flood. And if you remember the story of the flood, what God was doing was regenerating the story again, recreating a new world. It is our hope for everyone, that this might be one of those floods. Although actually, as a matter of fact, there's a lot of rabbis and other practices, spiritual practices, who talk about how we are in the time of Noah. So we might think like, what do you mean we're in the time of Noah, right? Because the way that is explained, the chronological line, right, the timeline, is not a timeline that starts from 0 to year 6,000. It's in a way, at one time there was 0, and it started to go backwards. So in the Middle Age, it started to go backwards, or earlier, and then that means that today we are almost equal to the beginning. Why do we say that? Because the year 6,000 will start the year 7 in Judaism, because each year of a Messiah is 1,000 years. So we are in 5,784 right now. That means actually we're very close to hit the 6,000 in 200 and something years. That will start the sabbatical, the 7th year, or what they call the Messianic era, according to a lot of different Jews and traditions. You can just look it up. That means, in a way, that in order to get to Messianic era, will be very close to the beginning. The beginning we just read this week is the Garden of Eden, of Eden, right? The Gan Eden. That means if you continue this way in life or in history, we have now next week the story of Noah, the flood. So that means that we are right now. They say that we were in Sodom and Gomorrah. Now we are like in the Noah's Ark and the flood, or the generation of the flood, the generation of Bilbul, of this confusion of the Bilbul of Babel, of the Tower of Babel, right? Of confusion of languages, confusion. They want to conquer the heaven, conquer and have control of the world. How much this relates to what's going on right today? So it seems that actually there might be some truth. And then if you move into the more extreme, that means little by little and close enough, right, we will have, again, the Genesis, or what they call now the Messianic era, which will be hopefully closer to the Garden of Eden. So I think that if we want to work on something, I think we can try to this month, and as we continue these days, to try to overcome this natural tendency that we have towards revenge in our own lives. Okay, I know it's happening over there as well, but in our own lives, remember we are a micro and a macro universe of what's going on in the world, each of us. So we can work our natural tendency toward revenge, towards taking the law in our hands, control, or giving people what they deserve, and focus on more revealing who we are. We are light. We are energy. We have a neshama. We have this beautiful light of us, as souls, and hopefully that's what we want to seek this month, and hopefully we can prevail.
It's important that we recognize the power we have. What is your power, and how you need to choose how you're gonna live your life. If you are discriminated, if you are whatever you are, you're gonna see in your life. If you don't want to see it, sounds like a you problem to me. You need to see it. You need to see who you are, and you don't want those certain things to happen with you. You need to see it within you, and that's how we transform our universe. If I transform my universe, I stop being against him, because I transform Marcela, right? My creation is me. Then I'm gonna have fighting with him, because I'm no longer that type of person who's gonna punch his buttons, because I'm growing. He's gonna transform himself, so he's not gonna have to fight with me, neither with the next one. See how it goes? You transform the universe within you, and then it will go little by little to others. When we feel as a human, as a people, that we're different than others, that we're better than them, and we make them feel that way, what do you expect they're going to do? So we need to understand better how are we behaving, and what type of energy we emanating. That's how the responsibility is called right now. We need to know what type of energy I'm emanating. If I go to a restaurant and I treat meanly my waitress, what do you think he's going to do with me? Even though I'm the one giving him the tip, he probably is not going to be that nice to me because I'm emanating a certain type of energy. And behind that energy or behind that is a rationale. What is my rationale so I can treat my waitress like this? What is behind me? That I'm better than him, that he's my servant, that because he is this way and I'm this way, I have the money, he doesn't. All of that is behind you, behind your heart. You emanating your behavior, and then you're getting back what you're giving. When that waitress gets back on you and he's mean to you, in some way did you deserve it? Did you create it? No, he's a bad waitress and I'm not. Because you are blind. We are blind. So it can be caused. I'm not saying that it is okay what's going on. Don't take it that way because it's not what I'm saying. I'm asking you to be more conscious of yourselves because that's all we can do. We cannot go and fight the fight for them over there physically. But the only way we can change anti-Semitism, like Ruth asked at the beginning, is trying to be the best people we can be as human beings. We are supposed to be, according to the Torah, the priest of the world. And that means so much.
Enlightened to the nation.
Enlightened to the nation. And that doesn't mean to be better than you, to have more money than you. And because I am Jew, I'm better than you. That's not what it means. It means to be light. And light means to be good people, good heart, good love, responsibility, humbleness. Not only the ones that make more money on the world, not only the ones that are more successful than these ones, because that's not really what we're going to...
Or more Nobel Prizes.
See? Or more Nobel Prizes, or the best bar mitzvahs. This one, it cost me $20,000 and the other one $100,000. Huh? Right now, we need to be deeper than that, better than that, as human beings. And it's now is the time. Oh yes, now is the time. Well, guys, I think
we want to thank everyone for being here. Before we go, I want to show with the video. Then you can depart if you want to. The IDF singing, the soldiers of the IDF singing the Tikva. If you want to stand up to sing the Tikva. Together with the IDF, that would be great. Let's this month of Cheshvan not to be marred, not to be bitter, but for the work internally that we can do, each of us with the support, not only just to Israel and in any way that we can, but also our work internally, our inner work, and inner exercise, inner elevation. We can elevate and create mar to ram, bitterness to elevation of this month of Cheshvan. And let's work all our character traits to be better, that when we see the need of the enemy showing pictures, doing what they're doing, with families, little, etc., let's see in which part of our lives we are not the same. Not exactly that we're doing that in action, right? But equals to the same idea, in which way sometimes we are not creating revenge. We're still not forgiving others. We're still not having a relationship with others. We still feel oppressed, or we are oppressing others, in relationships as well, in our own lives, to our own selves, which is worst. So let's wake up, and do what we can do. And let's, of course, balance it out, and everything. Fast, if you need to fast with your eyes and your ears.
And your mouth.
And your mouth.
Our mouth.
Yes, all of us, of course, we are included. We thank you so much. We wish you a Chodesh Tov, a Shavua Tov, and wish the best, and the best of the outcomes. It's not in our hands anymore, everything. We also wish and hope into Hashem and to God. And just elevate your prayers and elevate yourself as human beings.
Remember, every time you feel anxiety, cope skills. coping skills. Get a psalm, pray. You'll see the difference within you.
Have a great night, everyone. Here is
Shavua
the
Tov.
Atikva and Shavua Tov.
נפש יהודי הומייה ותן מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו שנות הבאים להיות החופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים להיות החופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Have a safe flight.